Okay, we're here in southern Utah. Drove down last night, came down from Salt Lake City. It took about 3.5 hours. Come down I-15 south, came over on 6 into Price, through Price to Green River, and then gassed up in Green River because then once we get to Green River, I want a full tank of gas when I leave. We're just outside of Goblin Valley State Park, which is over here, and I'm looking out at the San Rafael Swell this morning. The swell, it's a big geological feature, and about 3.5 hours, 4 hours by the time you get in here, especially by the time you find a spot for the night. Camped out last night, my rig here. I'll go over all the details on the support trailer that I use for camping out. It's beautiful, really comfortable. Have place to sleep, kitchen set up, and the whole 9 yards. But it's a beautiful morning. It's early. It's about 7:15 in the morning, and I'm gonna go over here into the swell and do a loop hike up through Slot Canyon, really narrow slot. So I'll take some video of that, and we'll get going. And looking like a pretty blue sky day here in southern Utah. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just getting started out on the hike in the San Rafael Swell. We're going to do an 8-mile loop, and I'm not decided yet. I think I'll go up through the narrow slot first. In case it gets crowded later in the day, probably head up the slot section first, around through the top, and make my way back down. Okay, I'm right in the slot. It's really narrow in here, beautiful. Nice thing about that is it's a little more shaded, it's a little more cool. And it's just amazing to see what the water can carve out. You definitely don't want to be here on a rainy day, or a day when there's storm clouds overhead, or even in the distance. But it's really quiet and shady, and in here you can take a look at where I'm going. It's a nice crack slot, pink rock, red pink. And it's early in the morning, so the light's perfect, and temperature's really nice. There's a number of these little alcoves where it gets wide and then it goes back into the narrow section of the slot. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, these are great hikes in the morning because it's shady in here. It's still pretty early in the day. It's a little sunlight probably in the mid part of the day, and sun's high in the sky. This one will pop out, and then up on the top, of course, we'll be up on the rim and with some bigger views and out of the slot. Okay, now we're pretty well out of the top of the slot. It's gorgeous. We're coming around and we'll head up to the top. We're gonna traverse across, and then we're gonna drop down another canyon, make one big loop out of this hike. 8 miles, San Rafael Swell. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's quiet. I've seen a couple people, especially at the beginning of the hike, which is pretty typical. You see a lot of people out of the car park, but if you just go and get going and keep going, it ends up getting really quiet. And I mean, literally, I saw 6 people, maybe a few couples. That was it. Beautiful. The desert's quite green right now. It's May, mid-May, so it's got a lot of green. The desert's pretty resilient, but there's some pretty nice flowering plants right now too, and it's just a gorgeous time of year. Temperature's perfect right now. Should be about 80 today. We're probably in the mid-60s or so right now. Still pretty early. It's about 9:30 maybe. Haven't looked. And I'm not guiding, so I'm not wearing a watch. Yeah, just enjoying the desert, southern Utah. I didn't have breakfast this morning because I want to get on the road, get on the trail. But I did make a little sandwich here to enjoy at just the right time. And the time is now. I'm gonna have breakfast. It is so quiet out here and peaceful. It's beautiful. I highly recommend it. We're doing private trips now in light of all of the social distancing, and nobody's 6 feet within my eyesight here. There's nobody within 6 feet of me, that's for sure. But we really can put together a great private trip, a great experience down here. You could just fly in. We got all the gear times 2, support vehicles and trailers and all the cookware and tents or lodge based, and you know, even my small trailer has a shower with hot water, no less. It's just amazing. And to get down here and to be in such a quiet, just hear nature, some animals out there, some birds. Whew, just what the doctor ordered. Really is gorgeous. It's an absolutely beautiful day here. San Rafael Swell. Exploring these slot canyons. It's a gorgeous day. A couple little puddles, but not too much for this time of year. It's May. And sometimes you definitely would need to, and maybe we still do, have water shoes, or just be willing to walk through the water in your shoes. It's a desert, they dry out, so not a big deal if they get wet. So far, not that much water, nothing I've had to get my feet wet for. Early in the spring, can have some pretty big pools. This one in particular doesn't get as bad. Some places, slot canyons, you've got to wade through up to your waist or even swim. But this one stays pretty nice. We are up out of the narrow part of the slot canyon. Now we're in the bigger wash. We're going to come out around the top, get up on top of the rim rock, make our way across, and then come down and around through a canyon on the other side. So it is a gorgeous day. It's quiet. Okay, we're almost to the bottom of our loop. Got about a mile back to where it junctions together. Outstanding. Okay, so just made it out. Went up through all the narrow slot. Beautiful wash. Narrow slot all the way up and through to the top. Came across on the high bench and then made my way down a canyon and back into kind of a narrow slot. Not quite as narrow as the way up, but really beautiful. Took about 4 hours. 8 miles, about eight plus miles, and it's absolutely gorgeous out here. Look at this tree. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. About 80 degrees, maybe 75 or so. Mid-May, so really good time. But through the desert, we go through the summer, especially on trips that we run where we stay in hotels at night. I mean, in the camp setup, we have a nice shower, hot shower last night before I got into my sleeping bag. I rinsed off with a hot shower. It was like in the 50s, so warm water was really nice, and freshened up and had an awesome night's sleep outside and my little camper shell. And had nice coffee this morning and made breakfast for the trail. And it's about noontime and making my way back out of the wash. Just I can see the trailhead here in the outhouse, porta potty or whatever, privy. And I kind of decide what to do this afternoon. I'm by myself, just kind of scouting things out this week. I've been here a bunch of times, obviously, but getting away. We've all been cooped up a little too long right now, and looking forward to summer and fall of private guided adventures out here in southern Utah. We can do all kinds of activities. We can cater to all size groups from one person right on up. So come visit us in Utah. We'd love to see you out here, and we'd love to help you get away and explore some beautiful outdoor areas.